This is a breaking news alert. An Arizona grand jury has just indicted more than a dozen people, including fake electors for conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. And Donald Trump is named as an unindicted co-conspirator. There were 7 names in addition to the fake electors who were named, 7 other names that were redacted in the document below. And per the Washington Post and other sources, and we can independently confirm here at the MeidasTouch Network that the other 7 who were indicted are as close to Donald Trump as you can be. They include Mark Meadows, was just indicted in Arizona, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, who already pled guilty in Fulton County, Georgia, John Eastman, Christina Bobb, Boris Epstein, and Mike Roman. They have all been indicted as well. We're going to go through each and every one of the counts. But first, let's throw it over to the Arizona Attorney General, Chris Mays. Moments ago, she delivered this press conference. Let's play it.
Hi, I'm Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Let me start by thanking everyone for your patience as we conducted a thorough and professional investigation over the past 13 months into the fake elector scheme in our state. I understand for some of you today didn't come fast enough, and I know I'll be criticized by others for conducting this investigation at all. But as I have stated before and will say here again today, I will not allow American democracy to be undermined. It's too important. The investigators and attorneys assigned to this case took the necessary time to thoroughly piece together the details of the events that began nearly 4 years ago. They followed the facts where they led, and I'm very proud of the work they've done to date. We're here because justice demands an answer to the efforts that the defendants and other unindicted co-conspirators allegedly took to undermine the will of Arizona's voters during the 2020 presidential election. Arizona's election was free and fair. The people of Arizona elected President Biden. Unwilling to accept this fact, the defendants charged by the state grand jury allegedly schemed to prevent the lawful transfer of the presidency. Whatever their reasoning was, the plot to violate the law must be answered for, and I was elected to uphold the law of this state. The scheme, had it succeeded, would have deprived Arizona's voters of their right to have their votes counted for their chosen president. It effectively would have made their right to vote meaningless.
There you have it. That's the Attorney General of Arizona, Chris Mays. As we go through this indictment that was just unsealed moments ago, Michael Popok, the criminal defendants have been charged in count 1 with conspiracy, a Class A felony. The count 2, fraudulent schemes and artifices, a Class 2 felony. Fraudulent schemes and practices, a Class 5 felony, count 4, forgery, a Class 4 felony, count 5, forgery, a Class 4 felony, count 6, forgery, a Class 4 felony, count 7, forgery, a Class 4 felony, count 8, forgery, a Class 4 felony, forgery, a Class 4 felony. And then as you go to pages 12 and on, it talks about the conspiracy and scheme that was directed in the state of Arizona, the fake elector scheme. That's why you have the fake electors who have all been indicted, including the former chair of the Republican Party, Kelly Ward, as well. And then you have those in Donald Trump's inner circle who also were involved in this conspiracy to interfere with a free and fair election in Arizona. Popok, we've been covering this all the way back when there was a prior attorney general there who was trying to suppress the documents from even getting out. They put together like a fake report and tried to suppress the facts from independent auditors and investigators. And when the new attorney general came in, they found that file. That was one of the things as well that the Republican AG, who was close to Donald Trump, was trying to not investigate this. But this is law and order. This is a powerful indictment. And you and I had been talking about it for months now that this could be happening. I want to get your immediate reaction to all of this, Michael Popok.
The thing I like of thanks, Ben. The thing I like about it is it captures, no pun intended, a lot of the unindicted co-conspirators that I thought Fani Willis in the Fulton County District Attorney's prosecution, or even Jack Smith in the federal prosecution, should have picked up. I've been scratching my head for over a year. I've talked about it on Legal AF as to how Boris Epshteyn, who's the inside consigliere for Donald Trump, who's got his fingerprints as on almost everything that's been illegal about Donald Trump in his attempt to cling to power and overturn our democracy. And yet he had avoided, he was an unindicted co-conspirator with Jack Smith. He wasn't mentioned at all in the filing in Fulton County. But Chris Mays and her investigative team over the last year and a half, and we've been tracking it on Legal AF from the very beginning when she announced she was going to open this investigation. She said, I've waited, I'm paraphrasing, I've waited long enough. We waited for the federal government to go first. We waited for the Jan 6 committee to go first. And we waited, Georgia even with its sprawling RICO indictment came next. But now it's time for me to protect the citizens and the electorate of the voters of Arizona. Now, Arizona has been a hotbed of activity, most of it negative, about the cling to power by Donald Trump. It's the same state, to remind everybody, where we joked about it as the fraudit, where they brought in cyber ninjas paid for by the Republicans of the Arizona House, some of which have now been indicted in this indictment to do a phony audit to determine if whether there was outcome determinative fraud. They found that there wasn't even any. We had Rusty Bowers, the Speaker of the House of Arizona, pressured by both Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani. One now indicted, Rudy Giuliani, one an unindicted co-conspirator. When I'm done, I want to get your view on why Trump was left out of this party that's been arranged. But and Rusty Bowers basically lost his position and was punished by the Republican Party in Arizona as a longtime Speaker of the House. He said, I can't violate my constitutional duty. There is no fraud, and I'm not going to say that there was, despite him being leaned on. Christina Bobb, we always wondered, she of Newsmax, we always wondered how she skated by in the Mar-a-Lago investigation, because she was the one that signed the certificate that said that there's nothing to see here. All the confidential documents in Mar-a-Lago are in this sealed envelope, signed Christina Bobb. How did she skate by? She didn't skate by Chris Mays and the Arizona investigators, because according to the Washington Post, and as you said, our own reporting, she's under that black line that we just showed on air of indicted co-conspirators. Rudy Giuliani, no surprise. He made a series of phone calls into Arizona with Donald Trump, including to Rusty Bowers. Mark Meadows, the same thing. He went above and beyond what you do as a chief of staff to try to influence the outcome of the election for his boss. Boris Epshteyn, I am rejoicing, because I've been calling for the indictment of Boris Epshteyn for over a year. He sits at counsel table with Donald Trump at all of his criminal trials. He hired all of Donald Trump's criminal lawyers. Lawyers quit Donald Trump's defense because of his meddling. I said, if there's got to be criminal activity, he is now going to have to answer for his crimes in Arizona. And I'll leave it on this, Ben. This is not the only attorney general that's cooking that is cooking right now with an active investigation that could lead to an indictment. Let's look to Michigan and the Michigan Secretary of State there, the Attorney General there, and there's at least one other state. These attorney generals waited patiently in the starting blocks for the Jan 6 committee and then Jack Smith and to do their work, but they are ready, and this indictment is real, and people are going to go to jail as a result of it.
You know, if I'm thinking, why was Trump an unindicted co-conspirator at this stage, my view is just time will tell if he goes from unindicted to indicted. I think that this is an approach to put pressure on some of the other indicted co-conspirators now to actually flip on Donald Trump. I think what happened here, Popok, is the Arizona Attorney General was observing what was happening when you indict Donald Trump with the others. And because Donald Trump's own self-preservation is on the line, because Donald Trump's own freedom is on the line. That's sometimes where Donald Trump will try to use others as pawns in the proceedings to protect himself. So I think tactically, you don't include him here yet. You have all other people here who may enter pleas and cooperate. I think it's actually could be a brilliant strategy. Let me show you right here. And by the way, Donald Trump's been indicted now in 4 other jurisdictions that are dealing with him as well. And why in Arizona give any excuse for any of those other ones to be delayed if Donald Trump tries to use Arizona as a delay tactic for some of the other cases where he can be brought to justice. To remind everybody who Kelly Ward is, one of the individuals who was indicted moments ago. She used to be the leader of the Republican Party in Arizona. She self-professed to be ultra MAGA, and she referred to previously her and now the other indicted conspirators as the Orange Mafia. She was going around town saying that she was the Orange Mafia and she was speeches. Well, the Orange Mafia has now been indicted officially in Arizona. Let's play this clip.
Hey, stand up if you're ultra MAGA! Ultra MAGA! Woo! Hey, I'm a proud member of the Orange Mafia!
It should be noted that the statute of limitations as to the state of Arizona is 7 years. So Donald Trump is not just not out of the danger zone yet, he is close to the danger zone. Popok, yes. I'll let you put a ribbon on this video.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I love that clip. I always love when you impersonate Kelly Ward. They'll play that now in the opening statements against her when they bring that case to trial. And kudos to the Arizona Attorney General. We're seeing a lot of brass ones by the attorney generals around the country to do the right thing to protect the electorate in those places. And what I liked about the indictment and what we've read of it is the way it's been structured. You've got the fake electors. That's obvious. That's what we always shorthanded the reference to the investigation as. Oh, they're investigating the fake electors. But caught up in there are current elected officials in Arizona, some of which are voting on the Arizona ban. They should worry less about taking away a woman's right to choose and more about their own criminality. They've been indicted. And now we picked up, as I said at the top of the hot take, this hot take with you, Ben, we picked up a bunch of people that I have been pissed off, and I know you have too, and our audience has too, about them not being indicted in other indictments. And I totally agree with you. This was a masterstroke. Why give Donald Trump an out to be able to argue or play this case against another case? She'll watch it carefully. She'll see what happens with the federal election cases and the Mar-a-Lago case. And she's got, as you said, plenty of time on the clock to get a cooperating witness or two against Donald Trump and go from unindicted to indicted as quickly as you can say, Orange Mafia.
Michael Popok, you, I, Dina Dahl, and our legal team here at the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF will be covering the oral arguments before the United States Supreme Court, where Trump is claiming that he has absolute immunity to order SEAL Team 6 to kill his political opponents. So everybody watching here, make sure, as always, to make the MeidasTouch YouTube channel your one and only go-to YouTube destination and destination period for all coverage relating to the Supreme Court oral argument. Michael Popok and I will have pre-coverage with Dina Dahl. We'll have post-coverage with the best legal analysts in the country. Thank you for watching. Big breaking news this evening. Hit subscribe.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.meidastouch.com.